Hello, it's Mr. Arrow here. This is a quick presentation on symbiotic relationships. Symbiotic relationships are relationships between two or more organisms where at least one of them benefits from the relationships. And we can categorize symbiosis into three different types. First of all is mutualism. This is an example of where both organisms benefit. One example is Phainopepla and the desert mistletoe. Phainopepla gets its food source from the berries of the desert mistletoe. It eats that as a source of energy, and then as it flies around, um, doing its business in the desert, it poops out the seeds and allows the desert mistletoe to spread and reproduce. Another example is the sea anemone and the clownfish. The clownfish is able to hide inside the sea anemone and is protected from predators, and it often releases some of its waste byproducts as when it eats, and that allows the sea anemone to have, a food source. So both of those are examples of mutualistic relationships where organisms benefit. Another relationship is commensalism. That's where one benefits and the other one really just sort of isn't affected. It's just sort of like kind of, meh, take it or leave it. So our first example is a really fun one, which is called the sea cucumber and the shrimp. The sea cucumber, the shrimp will attach itself to the sea cucumber, and the sea cucumber will, zoom around, the ocean and allow the shrimp to get exposed to new feeding areas and new areas for it to move and eat. And it doesn't really affect the sea cucumber at all. The next one is the cactus wren and the cactus. The cactus wren, well, it actually will dig its burrows or its houses, bird houses, right inside the cactus, and it gets protection, from the elements and from other organisms from the cactus, but it doesn't really sort of affect the cactus at all. And then finally, we have parasitism. This is where one organism benefits, at the detriment or the harm of the second organism. Typically, the parasite will live in or on the host organism, the one sort of that gets harmed and provides, whatever it is that the parasite needs. One of my favorite examples is a tapeworm in a human. It's really sort of kind of a gross example, but a tapeworm is a common worm that can sometimes infect people, lives inside the people, eats the food from their stomach, which prevents the human from getting the nutrients in the food from that tapeworm. Another one is a very common one, which is a tick and a deer. Ticks will embed themselves inside the skin of a person or another animal and draw, out a blood meal. And that blood meal is really important for the female ticks, to be able to then survive and lay their eggs. And so that blood meal is really important for them to do that. It can pass on some diseases, but the detriment to the deer, the human is it's losing blood. So those are the three different symbiotic relationships. Hope you enjoyed them and have fun trying to apply your understanding of these different relationships in the next series of videos.